before we start with the show, I just want to say thank you to Jonathan for running 2 half marathons for the Ukraine Crisis appeal, and everybody, thanks for donating and supporting this great cause. Thank you.
Welcome to the Irish Arsenal GOONER podcast. It's Tuesday, the 22nd of March. I'm your host, Jonathan Giles, as always. I'm joined this week by my weekly guests, Martin Stumble, John Melia, and Eamon Donnelly. How are you, lads?
Evening, Jonesy.
Good evening.
Evening, Jonathan. Evening, Martin. Evening, John. Drinking the whiskey there.
Vodka.
Yeah, because you got there.
I could do it so myself, the way I'm feeling.
Sunday's gone, really. Feel a lot more there.
When Eamon gets out of his pre-Leeds existence there. As always, you can catch our show on Spotify, SoundCloud, and on the Dublin Arsenal YouTube channel. Before we kick on with the show, as always, I'll go to Martin. How did we do last week, Martin?
Yeah, not too bad.
Minus these two lads.
Look, we have to have a week off as well, or somebody has to have a week off. No, but we keep on steady growth, so which is good views. So just can keep on going, you know. And the good thing is that,
can I just remind the listeners, while all this gloating is going on, the host of this show is looking for tickets from me for games. I just want to put that out there. You know,
I think, to be honest, after my Sterling Moore holding the show together over the last 12 months, I'm deserving of at least.
And we all know at the moment, getting tickets at the moment is very hard.
Now, I'd like to point in the listener view there. I've asked for 2 tickets for Leeds and everything come May, so over the next month or so, it could all go shied open and tickets will be readily available.
That'd be okay, but I just want the listeners to know, it's a sign of the times that we are now. The ticket situation is becoming now impossible.
Yeah,
you know.
Exactly. Yeah. Just very, as you said there, Eamon, there's very few home games left, and the longer we stay in forward and maintain that, I'm sure tickets are going to be non-existent come the end of the season.
We're done to the end of the season, and we're oversubscribed. You know.
Yeah.
That's incredible, isn't it?
Yesterday we had the supporters club meeting for all the supporters clubs from thing, and they said the Man United game was as much demand as the Barcelona game was we played in the Champions League years ago. So it's just like they said, like they just can't get enough tickets, you know, like and all the supporters clubs are not moaning, but like they're all desperate for, you know, getting tickets. But it is very hard, like, and it's nearly actually impossible. But it's good to see.
Is that all these Twitter addy heads who have private conversations about sack the manager, they should be weeded out, culled out, and taken off the ticket list, and that would free up tickets.
Yes.
The real supporters who are not Johnny come lately jumping on the glory bandwagon. Now that's that was a great show, lads. Well
done. And as Eamon said on his first episode, I wanted Arteta out, so things have changed.
Jonathan, you'll get your ticket, mate. You're okay.
If everyone listens to me, everything will be okay. Over the next half hour or so, I hope you enjoy it. On tonight's show, we'll be reviewing our latest fixtures. Our 1-0 away success to Villa at the weekend, in which Saka scored our 2000 Premier League goal. So that was a stat that I didn't know until that happened. Also, we'll be reviewing last Wednesday's 2-0 defeat to Liverpool. Disappointing. And also, we'll have our goal of the month and player of the month for March, as well as looking through some of the milestones over the 2000 goals from goal 1 down to 2000, the milestones that were reached. So over the next half hour, so I hope you enjoyed the show. And also, with no show next Tuesday due to the international break, we'll be back Tuesday, April the 5th. So we're doing a small little bit on David Rocastle to be his 24th anniversary on March the 34th. So a brief word with the lads as well. So I always like getting a mention in on Rocky. I think we all remember him fondly, and a sad loss to the Arsenal family. But what a guy! His book, Rocky, actually is a brilliant read. I can only recommend it to people that haven't read it. So we start with Saturday's 1-0 away victory against Villa. Bukayo Saka had another great game. and buried the shot past Martinez after 28 minutes. Another talking point in the first half was Tyrone Mings, that challenge he made that he only got a yellow for. When you look back on it, replay after replay, he should have really been a red. He followed through quite heavy, and Saka was lucky not to possibly get a broken ankle out, you know. But I suppose on first view, and it probably was a yellow, but when you look at the replays, definitely I think a red should have been shown. It was Bernard Leno's first Premier League game since the 5-0 defeat against City at the end of August. I thought he'd done okay. He didn't have much to do, but the save he made at the very end from Coutinho got us the 3 points in the end, and a clean sheet for himself and a solid display. A solid display by the lads as well. I was happy to come away at Villa Park with a 1-0 at this stage of the season as well. That keeps us in fourth. I'll go to Eamon. What did you make of the match, Eamon?
Well, okay. First of all, it was one of those games that it would have been very easy to not turn up and make excuses about 2.5 days compared to them having 7 or 8 days. And we didn't have enough rest and all of that carry on. But the team clearly went out with a purpose that's not going to be the way it is today. We got control of the game early. Excuse me. Our middle two, Party and Granit Xhaka, were absolutely superb. Absolutely superb. Now, I want to mention Granit Xhaka for a second. He's playing in a more advanced position. And I think that's a testament to how Gabriel takes the ball out of defence. Because Granit Xhaka, we said it on this show many, many times, he was trying to be all things to everybody before. He had to almost drop just outside his own box, receive the ball, and he never got far enough up the pitch. But Gabriel is now walking out with the ball into, you know, not what I wouldn't say risky areas, but areas where it's not just a pass across the back. So hats off to Gabriel for the way he's performing, and you know I love Ben White because there's a bit of the devil in him. And if you look at when you reference your own Mings incident, when you look at the way the Arsenal players reacted, I was delighted to see that. Particularly White. White loves getting in among that because I tell you what. Oh, yeah, he's got the ball. Oh, there's nothing really in that. Oh, Peter Walton, what do you think? Oh, well, I think he should have had a lump of candy floss given to him and all of that sort of great stuff. But his follow-through didn't have to make contact. His follow-through was aimed to make contact. And somebody needs to look at Bukayo Saka and say, are we really going to take the greatest talents in our game and allow them to be kicked into retirement? Because that's what's happening. I mean, Ashley Young took 6 kicks off him. Yeah. Because I decided I was going to do a count on that. You know, because I knew what was coming. Because he was too slow. Right? And by the way, I want to say, I like Aston Villa as a side, so I'm not down on Villa, right? But Mings went through, and I'm just sick now of this carry-on of, you know, Aaron Ramsey, Diaby, Eduardo, and they were all honest tackles. You know, that could have been a leg breaker.
Yeah, it was dangerous. Yeah.
And I want to draw a comparison with the yellow card that Mings got and the yellow card that Granit Xhaka got, because I have to say Granit Xhaka has been silly in the past, but Jesus Christ, the referee counted 1, 2, 3. What was he talking about? He'd only made one foul.
That was the one he actually got the yellow for.
And it was for the push. All he literally did was pawed your man off that had been trying to put it into his face. Yeah. It was absolutely disgraceful. And then, you see what that does is, I think hats off to Granit Xhaka for the way he played in the second half and the way he got through that without putting himself at risk. The biggest, and the other thing is, if you want to do an accumulation of fouls, sure, Matty Cash, is that his name?
Yeah.
Matty Cash, Catty Mash, or whatever. He was like the little irritant in the schoolyard who goes around and trips you up all the time. He had about 7 or 8 fouls. But look, at the end of the day, the only disappointment for me, and when I think about Bukayo Saka being booted around, was Nicolas Pepe was horrible. He was absolutely horrible. His touch was gone. And
Yeah.
he looked as if he was a guy who was like, here we go. We've said this. He's going to have a big part at the end of the season. Oh, my God. He was terrible. You mentioned Leno not having much to do. Well, he had plenty to do. It wasn't spectacular saves. But his handling of the ball, for a guy who hasn't played all season, was superb. And he was brave coming out over his own defenders and claiming the ball. Hats off to him. And I was delighted to see how invested he was at the end of the game. And I was delighted
he
to see,
celebrated, yeah.
and I was delighted to see how happy the players were for him after the game, because there's a unity of purpose about this team, right? And we're not always going to get it right. But Saturday, although it was nervy and I managed to carve a hole in the couch to look through it, but at the same time, we would not have won that game last year. They took 6 points off us last year. Huh?
Yeah.
And I think it was Saturday was a really good day for the Arsenal, I thought, for all sorts of reasons, on all sorts of levels.
Yeah, 1-0 to the Arsenal again, and another clean sheet. John, how did you see the game?
Well, the big surprise, obviously, before the start was Leno in, Ramsdale out because he's injured, and Martinelli missing out because of illness. But Eamon's absolutely right. First half, the two boys in the middle of the park, they took a hold of the game. I couldn't believe how easy the first half was. We had total control. The only surprise was only 1-0 up at half time. It was so comfortable I couldn't believe it. Martinez, who was really good for us, and a lot of Arsenal fans criticised the club for selling him. I think he was at fault for the goal. I think he was slow getting down. Fair play for Saka getting into the middle of the box. He wasn't on the wing at this stage, and he found a way of getting the ball in on target. But I thought the keeper, that goalkeeper would have been wearing an Arsenal jersey. I think he would have been heavily criticised. But we deserved to be going in 1-0 up. I've had this conversation with Eamon a long time about Leno. I always thought he was a really good shot stopper, but I always found fault for him underneath the high ball. I always thought he struggled under the high ball. But on Saturday, as Eamon just said, he was excellent. He made it look easy, and he only had one save to make, and that was the one in injury time from continuous free kick.
Great save, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely superb. If he doesn't play for us again, he's done his bit.
But it was the way as well, John, the way the players surrounded him at the end. It was like we won the league there. You know, that's it. It shows that they've confidence in him, doesn't it? Like
that's not allowed anymore. We're not allowed to do that.
The club are getting heavily criticised for this, and I think the fans and the players are saying, "So you, we're going to celebrate," and that's part of the reason why they want it so much. They're working so hard for it.
They're working, in
the second half, Villa, they couldn't have been any worse than they were. They were always going to improve. They got more possession, but they never really, apart from a deflected shot which hit the post, they never really looked like threatening us at all.
Yeah.
And everything was from outside the box. They never done much inside the box.
Yeah.
And that's gone down to how well organised we are at the moment.
Yeah, at the back, yeah.
The substitutions, Pepe and I have to say Eddie, I thought both of them. I know Pepe stood out. He was really, really poor. But Eddie, I don't know what he was doing. I mean, I have to be honest, I felt like the last 15 minutes we were playing with 9 men. Because they didn't contribute anything when they came on. And I was really surprised. Because as we've spoken up about Pepe, the guy has a huge amount of talent, but he looked like he hadn't got a clue what he was supposed to do when he came onto the pitch. And Eddie has come on, in fairness to him, over the last couple of times he's come on as a sub, and he's put a shift in. I didn't see I don't think he had a clue what he was doing either. It was very nerve-wracking last 15 minutes. But in saying that, they never looked like scoring.
No.
You know, absolutely superb team performance, a great away win. And I hope they celebrate like that every weekend for the rest of the season and piss off as many people as they bloody well want.
Yeah.
It's great to see, and I think the fans and the players are on the same wavelength. Let's bloody dance when we get a result like this. It's great to see, and you can see everybody's on the same page. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic to see.
Yeah, and as Eamon said, we lost twice to them last season, and the improvement on this season, you know, the togetherness. And
a different team. We are a different team. Different club. Actually, although we are a totally different club to where we were last season.
Yeah, there's a real bonding going on there, isn't there? You know, the new signings have gelled quite nicely, like Ben White now. It's like he's played with us for years, yeah. Martin, how did you see the game on Saturday?
Yeah, well, first of all, I didn't really see it because it was on the golf course, but I made it my thing to watch it actually on the phone on it, and then watch it like afterwards. So it was nerve-wracking because I watched the last 10 minutes, and then I seen on it was just, oh my god, what's going to happen? But anyway, I watched it, and again, I can't say much more what the boys said, the lads said there.
Yeah.
It's just, Saka is just at the moment, he's just really playing unbelievable. For a 20-year-old, he's just unbelievable. And what pissed me more off, never mind the foul, like, look, there's fouls, and we've been given, look at the other side, if that would have been Xhaka, it would have been a red, 100%. He has this reputation. But what even pisses me more of is the comment afterwards, when Xhaka actually mentioned, look, I think we need a bit more protection from a thing, and he actually, for a 20-year-old, he stood in front of them, and he brought it up, like, you know, that is not what football's supposed to be. Who comes out with a comment is Steven Gerrard and say, oh, he has to find out like how it works. Look at me. I had 16 operations. I have so many screws in my body. Like I can't even go to the gym. I mean, is that really like what you want to tell your players like that? This is what's going to happen to you. Like, would you not as a manager now try to kind of cut that out? So like players in future are not going to end up like that, you know, like and crippled to bits. That's the reputation of a manager. That's what you have to do. Not saying, look at what happened to me. That's what happened to you. That is absolutely disgraceful. And again, like same thing as with this celebration part of it, you know, it's so funny how now that we have all to social media, we can go back on tweets and see what people are saying, you know. Steven Gerrard said exactly the same when he was manager for Rangers, you know. So, oh, well, we have to be a bit more protection for our players, you know. So if it's his players, you know, like you have to protect them. If it's somebody else's players, imagine like Jacob Ramsey would have been felt like that. Would he say the same thing? And look, he has to toughen up a bit. I don't think so. So that kind of pissed me off, like, you know, watching all the aftermath afterwards, and I think that's really, really terrible. But look, they played a very, very solid game. It's funny enough that this is the first game I think we didn't score, had more shots on goal. We only had 10 shots on goal, I think. But we had a lot of chances, but we didn't actually go to the part to actually have a shot on goal. And that's probably like what we just have to improve. And that's going to hopefully happen when we get a decent striker and he's taking all these chances. And we should have been 3-0 up probably at halftime. And if we would have a striker, it would make it more comfortable, let's say like that. But it is what it is. We are playing through it, and look, there's 10 more games to go, and hopefully we can do what it is. Talking about Leno, which I like again, and this is exactly why we are where we are, is Ramsey got injured. He could have stayed at home. You know, he wouldn't have to go up to Birmingham, but he made it his matter to go up there. And it was so good to see when they finished, not only the players, but Ramsey went over to him, you know, like, and he was so delighted for him that he got a clean sheet. And that's why Leno is playing better as well than he actually did before, I think, because he has this competition now. He needs to improve. If he wants to get a shot in anything, he needs to be in the shop window. And that's where Leno, look, he didn't have much to do, but he improved what he did. And he did make saves, which he probably didn't make before. And that's good to see. And again, that's just like the togetherness of the guys, you know, and this is exactly why we are where we are. And long may it continue, you know, and we are, everything frees up. Gabriel frees up Xhaka goes forward. And yeah, I think that's exactly the way we want to play. Look, it doesn't work all the time, as we've seen against Liverpool, but look, we improved even there. So I think we were unlucky to lose to Liverpool, but look, it is what it is. It was a big game, and another thing is, and I've never been to an away game, which is a shame because, again, never mind about normal tickets, but away tickets are even harder to get. But if you see the fans in Villa Stadium, like, you know, and we're singing, and the funny thing on the side is that song where they're saying Mikel Arteta, that song, that was actually from our WhatsApp group. Somebody sent it into Arsenal about 5 weeks ago. It was a Twitter feed, and they were looking for new songs, and he sent in that kind of like, you know, sing that song, and they actually brought it up and they actually sang it. So it's something really, really, you know, what we don't see that often or didn't see for a long, long time. And even Arteta, he liked it, you know, when he came out. Like, it's just this togetherness with fans, players, everything is just working as a unit, and that's just so good to see, and that makes watching football even better, you know. So that's great. So yeah.
Can I ask a question just before we move on to the next subject? Martin, you were playing golf.
Yes.
You're Austrian.
I am, yeah.
I mean, whoever heard of Austrian golfers? It's a bit like world famous German cuisine. I mean, you don't go to a German restaurant. There are none. I'm just making that point.
Well, I'm not German, so I'm Austrian. That's a good thing. You know?
You know the,
He's
you know the reason
actually
why-
Ralph Hosson Hotel.
do you know the reason why I hate golf, Jonathan? Do you know the reason why I hate golf? Because it's so frustrating, Deirdre.
I was waiting for that to come out. It's always in some part of the show. I'm glad it came out now.
I actually scratched one hole just to watch the last 10 minutes of the game. You know, and I think, come back to watch Pepe. Oh my God,
So
maybe
you're
that's
scratching your hole to get the last 10 minutes of the game in. Excellent.
I say,
This is a family show, lads. Before the water gets Martin.
Arteta had to turn his eye when he heard the fans singing his name because at the end of last August, was sacked in the morning, was being named at him. So tears of joy instead of tears of misery.
It is, yeah.
But,
But that's good to see. I think.
Look
you
what
know,
he's
and-
like I was one of the skeptics. I did want Arteta out. I didn't see us going anywhere, but I have to say, since September onwards, he has done a sterling job. You know, he really has. He's got rid of Aubameyang, which was a big call at the time. You know, he's doing well at Barcelona, but it shows that the team are more. We're not a one-player team anymore. You know, it's 11 now, and unless the 11 players get involved, you're not playing. And that like for such a young manager as well, and to get that across, and for the players to buy into it, it's quite refreshing. And to see he definitely has a big future ahead, I think, as a manager now. I don't want to go to your man of the matches. I'll come back to Eamon. Who was your man of the match on the day?
Thomas Partey.
Yeah, can't argue there. John?
But he's gone Thomas Brady as well. I thought he was outstanding in midfield. He's been super this turn of year. He really has.
And Martin?
Yeah, look, like, we had the last thing you said, like, you know, Partey on, like, you know, and he's just like getting better now, and they're bouncing off each other, Xhaka and Partey, so they're making each other better. So yeah, like he definitely has a great game, you know, and obviously Saka played well as well, but from just controlling the whole game, I think Partey was just excellent.
Yeah, I think since he came back in January, after the African Nations Cup, he's just a different player, Partey, isn't he? Himself.
Yeah,
and
he
Saka.
was even before he went. I think he started like just to get into it, and then we said, "Oh my God, he's going to the African nations," you know. And he didn't perform, or Ghana didn't perform there in the team. Thank God, you know. But he came back, and since then, yeah, it's just unbelievable, which is good to see. That's the guy we wanted to have, you know.
Hopefully, he'll show that till the end of the season as well. Yeah. So I'll go there 1-0 to the Arsenal away from home. So that brings us to our second review and last Wednesday's 2-0 home defeat to Liverpool. We did say this was myself, Martin, and Ernie said this was a free hit to see how he'd get on. You know, it wasn't a shameful 2-0 defeat by any regards. And if Odegaard's chance he had wasn't saved by Addison in the second half and it was still 0-0, it could have been a different game. The 2 goals we conceded. Yotta's shot, I think Ramsey should have probably tipped it around the post, but I think he was kind of caught out as well. You know, it's just the power of the shot probably took him by surprise. Should be doing better though as a keeper who's been in all season. You know, I think he knew that himself from his reaction. But look, he hasn't made many mistakes this season, so I'm not going to go hard on him. And then the second goal from Liverpool, of course, was Firmino's neat finish past Ramsdale, but I think Partey should have just blasted that into Rowe's head. You know, he should have just be knocking that out of play. He was afraid of Robertson coming in on him as well. He's, you know, in the corner of his eye, I think, as well. You know, he should be just burying that out of play. But aside from their 2 goals, I thought we deserved a draw. You know, we didn't play great. The first half, it was like nearly a game of chess, wasn't it? You know, let's see who makes a mistake first type of thing. But, you know, Liverpool are a class team. I didn't expect anything out of it. It's not, in my eyes, it's not a damaging result, thank God. I think we can take 1 or 2 more bad hits before the end of the season, but it was the way we performed on Wednesday night. I didn't think we played that badly. I'll go to Martin first. How did you see the game?
Yeah, like this game I actually seen because it was in the River Bar, and the River Bar was for the first time again. It was like jammers, you know, and again that was great to see. And we had loads of people over. We had people over from Guernsey, you know, they came over, and and again, as I said, we didn't say it was a free hit, but like it was kind of like you know, a game which we anything could have happened, you know. Like, and if we did lose as we did, it shouldn't make much of the thing. It's just how did we actually react to it in the Villa game? That was the more important part of it. What are we actually doing if we do lose, you know? But we didn't disgrace ourselves, you know, and that was the best thing. I thought, like, in the first half we really played really, really well, like, you know, and it was a really good game to watch. And unfortunately, that goal, is it Ramsdale's fault? You shouldn't get beaten on the near side, but look, Jota,
one of them
I
shots, wasn't
absolutely hate him, innit? He's just a new Drogba. He's just a new Jamie Vardy. It's like he always scores against us, you know, like, and it's terrible. But it was a game, we are not at that level yet, and that's what we said. This was the first time we are measuring up to a decent team. Not that the other ones are bad, but they are one of the best teams in Europe now. And that's where we want to go. We want to go where Liverpool is now. This is our next step up, you know. And I'm pretty sure if we do qualify, even if only for the Europa League, and we get a better striker in, and we get something, then we can go to that level. Because we have the young players and they're playing already absolutely immense. So, look, as I said, you couldn't even be disappointed, and I wasn't disappointed. I kind of knew, like, you always hope that they'd do something, but they didn't. They should have probably deserved maybe a 1-1. I think it would have been fair enough, you know. Lacazette had a great chance as well, I think, to do something. But look, we're not taking, and that's our biggest problem at the moment. For all the good play we do, we just don't take our chances cleanly enough, and hopefully a striker can do that. But beside that, it was a good game. We played good football, technical football, and we were putting it to them, you know, and could have gone the other way around as well. So never know.
Yeah, it was just a pity our Odegaard shot didn't go in, because it would have made it really interesting, wouldn't it? Yeah. Eamon, how did you see the game on Wednesday?
Well, I've been saying since I joined this show, if we get 2 points per game, that's what you need to look at. So you've got to take the 3 games, Leicester, Liverpool and Villa, as a set. And we got 6 points, right? And we could have, with a bit of luck, played out a fairly heroic 0-0 draw with Liverpool and gone to Villa and got a fairly creditable 1-1 draw after only 2.5 days rest. And we'd had 2 points for that. Instead, we got 3. So we've got to look at it in the round. You're right. It was a free shot, right? I think the team played well. This wasn't one of the ones where we were fended off with ease and there was a big gap. We actually gave it a good go. And the difference is, I've actually realised their players, and don't laugh when I say this, right, are not actually that much better than us. They are just more advanced and they're on a different wavelength. Yeah. They connect in a different way. They're on a different wavelength. And that comes from 5 or 6 years being together. The confidence they have.
Yeah,
right?
And the belief.
And the belief, now you have it, the belief. Yeah. Our players are beginning. We've moved up from medium wave to FM. Our wavelength has improved. But it's nowhere near that level. So what I'm saying is that pound for pound, I think our players are as talented, you know? Yeah. But I just think that their wavelength is way more advanced. And it pains me to say this. You've got to remember, we were playing against what I would consider to be currently the best team in Europe. I actually think they're better than Man City. I think they're more dangerous than Man City. I think they hurt you in more ways. And that hurts me to say.
They're clever, they're clever.
Liverpool, to me, is Chinese chicken. You know, and you know what this carry on about? They're the most knowledgeable fans in football. Says who, Jonathan? Says who, Jonathan? Who is saying them things, Jonathan? I mean, how are they the most knowledgeable fans of football? People's club, my arse. Anyway, that's my. I felt that if I was going to call them the best team in Europe, I had to let my real yin and yang feeling show. But
the thing is, they know how to beat teams.
The main point is the wavelength they're on and how connected they are.
They're different class.
They are in the peak of their powers, and fair play to them, right?
Yeah, but their day will come.
But we made it really difficult for them, and I think that's the way you've got to look at it. This wasn't a swat away performance where they came and had a handy 2-0. The last thing I'd say is, you see that Jota fella, right? He couldn't kick the ball out of his way the other night, and he got a goal. And I am now calling this the curse of John Melia. I met John Melia for the first time in August 1993 in the Halfpenny Bridge Inn, right? When Robbie Fowler scored a hat-trick in about 12 minutes. And ever since then, we've had to put up with Robbie Fowler, Wayne Rooney, Jamie Vardy, Didier Drogba, Harry Kane, and even Kevin Davis from Bolton starts scoring against us. How about, so I think Jota has now become that man. I mean,
I hope John is satisfied for the miseries put on us.
That man could turn up on barbiturates and still score against us. He was terrible the other night. And what does he got taken off the minute he scored.
That's the thing, though, John. With Liverpool, their players can have a stinker, but at a click of a finger, they can turn something out, nothing, and score. And that's the difference with them at the moment. They're not playing like
the other guy from the Hammer House of Horrors, your man now in Narcos, what's his name? Firmino, right?
Yeah.
Hey,
He's done nothing all season, and then he comes up with that.
we can never handle him. I'll just tell this before you bring John in anecdotally. There was one night I was sitting beside John. I'm not sure whether it was in the river bar.
You're wasting more time.
God, you're being destroyed here tonight.
I'm not sure. I think it might have been in the river bar. And do you remember Ainsley Maitland-Niles got an early goal up at Anfield?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
1-0 up, right? And then the next thing, of course, it was the Grand Social. Next thing, of course, the dodgy box went down, right? And Imo, I'll get Mark to put on channel. It's on TV. Right. We turned it on 5 minutes later. We were 2-1 down. And there was Mark running back to the halfway line after doing this for 2 goals.
Don't bother with the dodgy box again.
Yeah, unfortunately,
It is. Our day will come, all right. Look.
Yeah, I don't want to go to John. No.
You need to be careful how you phrase that one in this country, man.
I know, yeah. I know, yeah.
You want to put me after that? I mean, of course, John Melia is going to strike. I mean, come on.
I want to go to you about aside from the Jota goal, I want to come to you about the second goal. Do you think Party should have done the way Robertson took it off? Do you think he should have done?
Look, we were under pressure
that
day.
Saka.
Yeah, it was Saka.
Saka was
Saka. Was it? I thought it was Party.
No, it was Bukayo Saka, John. Do you know what he was doing? You see, Cedric had moved up to a position ahead of him.
Right.
Yeah. And what happened was Robertson, in fairness to him, closed him down really quickly, probably quicker than he anticipated. What Saka was trying to do was move it on to Cedric, and then we'd broken out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when it got charged down, Cedric, of course, was out of position. You know?
And again,
And actually,
that's the way we play now. You know, we are like trying to get that ball back, you know, and just go, and that's what Cedric did. And it was a bit lucky in it that Robertson actually got that ball ricocheted off him, went up in the air, ball in front of him. But you can't plan for this. But that's the way we are playing now. We're trying to get the ball once we get it as quick as forward, you know, and then that's why Cedric was on his way. But yeah, look, it happened, you know, and unfortunate. That's what it is, you know. But at least, you know, we've shown that we want to play like that, and that's good.
If you want the ball in the stand, Jonathan, go and watch the Six Nations. You know?
Now, I'm going to come to John at last because he wants to redeem himself after being slated by Eamon. Can you make up for all these times that we were done by yourself?
There was 2 ways. Eamon said it. There's 2 ways to approach this game. You can go out and play your own game, or you can go out and, you know, close down, keep a tight ship, and hopefully get something maybe on the break. We went out and played our own game. And I thought the first half was one of the most entertaining 45 minutes of football I've seen all season. It was 2 sides, had a go at each other. It was end-to-end stuff. Maybe not as many chances as you would expect, but I thought that the level of the football was absolutely outstanding. It was a really high level of football in that first half. The difference between the 2 sides was Liverpool found the second gear. We had an early warning almost in the first minute when Mane was caught offside. And then we had that opportunity when, like I said, intercepted the back pass. And this is the tale between the 2 goalkeepers. Alisson was outstanding. He stood up. His foot movement was brilliant. He He got between, like he held Lacazette up. Lacazette couldn't get around him. Lacazette had to turn back. The ball came to Odegaard. Odegaard, he could have hit a first time, but Alisson had fought enough time to have two defenders on the line. And he just made himself big and he pulled off a really good save. Outstanding goalkeeper from Alisson. A minute later, we were goal down. Ramsdale, you know, he was expecting the cross maybe. Yota went near post. There was enough pace on it. Goal. But Liverpool, as Eamon said, they're not going to get any better. This is as good as this is going to get for Liverpool. Their ambition now is to make the most of this and to try and maintain that level. They are that good as side. They found the weak spot. Mane started the first half on the right hand side. Started the second half, he moved to the left. They put you under pressure and they force mistakes.
Yeah.
And that's what good sides do. That's what we did in our
Yeah, they make a mistake. Yeah.
You know, yeah, exactly. And then when we had half a chance, we didn't take it. They had half a chance in the win.
Yeah.
This is a really good Liverpool side. We found the second gear against Leicester in the second half. We had a really tough 15 minutes towards the end of the first half. Second half, we killed them. We just took control, killed them. Liverpool took control of that game in the second half. And, you know, that's what good sides do. What this shows you we're not a million miles off. We are not a million miles off. The talent is there. The belief is there. I give the players huge credit. Martinelli, what a performance.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Absolutely outstanding on him. Such a young player. I'm delighted he's only getting the Brazilian call. He deserves it. Gabriel, outstanding on the night again. Centre half. He was put under pressure, but he stood up. It's this is a learning curve. And the fact that we were able to spawn against Villa and get the win tells you where the mentality of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, we didn't go into that game heads down or shit. Our winning streak is ended. We went out and said we need to start another one.
Absolutely.
That's the difference, John. Yeah, we're bouncing back quickly.
John, could I just bring you back to that Alisson save? Because to my mind, it's one of the greatest saves I've ever seen. And the reason why is, if you look at it from what Odegaard sees, because we got that camera angle, and Odegaard, if you look at, I believe what happened was Odegaard took a touch, which means he's now going to pick a spot, right?
Yeah.
And he's picked the wide side of the goal. Well, he hasn't. He's eyed him to pick the wide side of the goal and then gone on the near side. Most goalkeepers would have gone down like an idiot. You know, this fella, he may have saved it if it was going to the wide side of the goal. Odegaard picks the narrow side of the goal and he gets that strong a hand on it.
He just made it as big as possible. It was great goalkeeping down. Great goalkeeping.
He anticipates things pretty well, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He waits to the last minute.
Odegaard definitely looked to go one way. And by the way, we've seen it in slow motion. This is happening in bloody real time.
Yeah.
Odegaard decided, I'm going to give him the eyes to go there and go there. You know, and how we got that strong a hand in it. I think, to be honest with you, if Odegaard had scored, the game was going to be a 1-1 draw.
I think, the first goal was always down to decide, wasn't it? You know, and but usually when Liverpool go 1-0 up, it's almost
down. It was just great goalkeeping.
I think with the night in it as well, it was pissing rain that night as well, and you know, I know it's no excuse, but I don't know. I think the morale just kind of, you know, it's. But I thought we deserved a draw going. You know, I thought after the first half performance alone, John, Martinelli.
You could tell.
Martinelli put fear into defence, didn't he? You know, he was driving at Van Dijk and they didn't know how to handle him at times, you know. But they're very smart, Liverpool. They don't dangle a leg in the box. They let you make the mistake, either run it out, play. You know, that's what defines, you know, the two sides. You know, they very rarely make a hesitant mistake, Liverpool, you know.
The difference between, and Eamon said it, is the togetherness and the understanding of it, because they're so long together.
Yeah.
If you look at the Martinelli, when he took Arnold out of his, you know, like played him out, like, and he went on the byline as well. But he hadn't got that man there, which Robertson had on the other side, and Firmino was there.
Yeah.
So that's the togetherness where we're missing. Because that could have been, if that would have been a goal, it would have been the greatest goal they scored all year. because it was just unbelievable what he did with the defenders, you know. And we just didn't have that man there because not that he didn't understand each other, but it's just like we need somebody, we need a poacher to be there, you know. We don't have that yet, and we will get one. You know what I mean? In that somewhere.
The big thing in the summer is the centre forward.
Yeah.
The
we need an out now
forward would make this team unbelievable.
to next level.
Make this team, you know, 5-6 times better than they are at the moment. And I don't want to disparage Lacazette. Lacazette is giving everything he's got.
No.
He really is. But we both know, we all know, there's an improvement to be made there. And that's going to be the big call in the summer.
I'm sure there's scouts out watching for that potential striker. Yeah,
One of my grandmother's looking at the best strikers in the world at the moment. Everybody's looking.
It's so sickening how well Aubameyang's doing at Barca.
I'm just down a marker now. If I hear the word Vlahovic once more ever again, you know.
But he was willing to sign for us in January, and he's hoping to sign in June.
No,
He's willing to sign for us.
We're
at all.
Eamon actually mentioned Vlahovic saying that he was coming in December, but again, the research that goes into these transfers, unbelievable. No, look, we lost. Look,
we had a better chance of signing Roy Rice than signing him.
Look, we've 10 games left. We've 10 games left. We're in a good position. We've still got some tough games to go.
It's going to be a big transfer window as well in the summer, you know.
Let's just hope everyone comes back fit from the
18 points will get us top 4.
I think we're in the driving seat now. It's ours to lose now. You know, that's with the 2 games in hand, it's ours to lose. But track back to the end of February, lads, when I was giving out the March Pfister looks, I said I'd be happy with 9 out of 12 points out of those games. And what's happened? We've got 9 out of 12. I remember Eamon laughing at me when I said that. So if you listen to me,
I'm going blending forks after the show like Yuri.
I am not predicting how many points we're going to get out of April because I've done my party piece. March was a clean sweep. I won fuck all at Cheltenham, so I'm not predicting nothing else. I don't want to go to Martin, your man of the match from Wednesday.
Oh God! Well, I actually think it would be Martinelli because what he did on the left side is just unbelievable. He didn't score, he didn't create that chance to score, but he just tore the left side apart. And look, he's out 6 weeks now, so you know, man, that kind of ruined their season maybe as well. You never know. Yeah, for me, that's kind of, you know, he's unbelievable, and he's just going to get stronger as well. And if he finds the right position to play for, then he will be an absolute superstar. That's why they're after him, you know. Liverpool, like, you know, every time.
Who's out for 6 weeks?
I think what's his name? Alexander Arnold.
Well, you're not allowed to call him that. No, it's Trent.
Trent, sorry.
Call him Trent. Oh yeah. Trent.
Yeah, he's out 6 weeks anyway. So.
My head is.
John, you're a man of the match.
It has to be Martinelli. As Martin just said, he blew Trent off the park. The fact that Klopp came out and said, look, anyone who says Trent Alexander can't defend, guess what? He can't defend against Martinelli. Martinelli on him on toast all night. Outstanding.
Yeah.
Absolutely outstanding performance, and he deserves to be man of the match.
I thought he was top. Again, he had a great December. Eamon was at the game against West Ham to 2-0 when he scored, and that was the way he destroyed that back line. It's just when he runs at players and he's so good with the ball, it's just frightening, you know. He's just lacking that end product of just getting consistent. Yeah, he obviously needs consistency as well. Hopefully he gets more game time next season because I'd like to see him as a main striker. You know, I do believe he has that talent in him. Eamon, your man of the match from Wednesday?
Gunnersaurus. I mean, he had to stand in that wetsuit all night in that lashings of rain you were talking about. What's that like? He's a hero.
I'm going to go with the match day program sellers.
Get Gunnersaurus back at job. No, it's Martinelli, of course.
Yeah. I was going to give it to Ramsdale up until the point he let that go, and so I'm going to give it to. I thought everyone had a good game, lads. You know, I didn't think there was anyone that really had a bad game. I go with Martinelli myself as a clean sweep. I probably have a stinker now against Paddys after giving us, especially with John's track record in terms. I don't go now to the goal of the month for actually, before we go to Golden One, I just want to mention our next match, which will be I suppose might give a small preview since we're out now next week. Crystal Palace away, Monday, April the 4th in Sky Sports at 8. We come up against our own manager, ex-player, now manager of Palace, Patrick Vieira. Drew 2-2 at home back in October. I thought Palace done quite well, actually, at the Emirates. They've done all right this season, actually, into the semis now, aren't they, the Cup? He's done okay for his first full season now. With Paddys, they're down to be, looks like they're down to have another season in the Premier League again. It's going to be, I'm going to go for a draw at this one. I think this will be a tough one, coming back off the international break. I think I'm going to go for a score draw, probably 2-2. Paddys be a tough one. It's one of those old school grounds, and the fans really get behind him. I'm going to go to Martin. How do you see that one going, Martin?
Yeah, like it's a strange one, isn't it? Like Palace are in real good form.
Yeah.
I mean, look at I think they only lost once to Chelsea in the last 6 games. Beside that, like they either won or they drew. So they're again, and we've seen it ourselves in when we had to have a last-minute goal from Lacazette to make it 2-2. What it meant to us. And especially when Vieira, always coming up against Vieira, it's not an easy thing either. So, look, I'm hoping that we win, but yeah, like a 1-1, I would probably take that. Again, it's just one. Let's see, like when they come back from the internationals, what kind of is there any injuries or not? Hopefully not. Like, but look, I think we can beat anybody on a day, and if they put in the same mentality in, that's what it is, and.
Yeah,
we want to see that same, drive what they have, and then we can beat them. But it's going to be a tough game. Like all the 10 games we're going to have, they're tough.
Yeah,
so
it's going to be. Yeah, I'd agree with you. It probably will be a score draw. John, how do you see that one going on the Monday night?
Definitely won't be easy.
Tough. Shadowhurst Park's tough. Yeah.
The FA Cup semi-final. Vieira has them well organised, well drilled. I think it's a game we need to win, to be honest.
Yeah.
There's a hell of a lot of big games coming up. I think it's a game we need to win. I don't think it'll be easy. Martin's right. A lot will depend on how the players come back from the international break. The home game was one of those games this season where I started to wonder whether Arteta knew what he was doing, because the team was really shambolic that night. We'd done well to get the 2-2 draw. Palace were really well organised, well drilled, fast, powerful, strong, athletic.
Yeah.
And if they'd won, no one would have argued. They've given teams a really good game this season. One of the few teams City haven't beaten. If I'm correct in saying that.
Yeah, it's right in the last couple of seasons. Yeah, it's right.
Yeah. So I mean, no one's saying it's going to be easy.
No.
I think it's a team. It's a game the team has to be on board. We have to do what we did at Villa.
Yeah.
Impose ourselves, get a goal, and just keep them out. Keep control of the game. Manage the game. You managed the game in the second half against Villa. So we need to do something similar. It won't be easy, but I'm hoping for it.
Yeah, with another 10-day rest or so, you'd assume we'd come out all guns blazing. Eamon, how do you see it going on that Monday night?
Well, first of all, I'm going to dispel the myth about the international break, because Palace are also an international team.
Yeah.
They have as many players away as we have. So that's an equaliser.
Yeah.
The second thing is, I just think that the balance will go in our favour because they've qualified for the FA Cup semi-final and they're safe in the league. Right? They didn't get Liverpool or Man City in the draw. They'll fancy themselves against Chelsea in that semi-final. So they're safe in the league and they have a chance to get to an FA Cup final. And the game means so much more to us than it does to them. Right? So I think if we're really on it, the way we were on Saturday, we win the game. Because we're better than them. The reason why I say we're better than them is because we're 18 points clear of them in the league. That's the reason, right? And we're always saying when we're bad, the table doesn't lie. But no, it doesn't, right? Now, here's the other thing. It depends on what Patrick decides to do.
Yeah.
Because when Patrick set his team up to play Man City, he set it up not like Palace normally play, right? And to be honest with you, they should have lost the game by 6.
Yeah.
They should have lost the game by 6, right? But if he sets up that way against the Arsenal, we'll monitor them. because he won't get away with that twice. But my sense would be that he won't do that because he won't fear the Arsenal the way he fears Man City, and we go toe to toe, and then anything can happen. But I just think that we've got, if our players are healthy in the middle of the park, we've got the tools to control the middle of the park better than they have, and on that basis, and it's a happy ground for us. We don't lose there often, you know. So I've been there with the away fans a number of times. Great place to watch football, by the way. Absolutely great place to watch football. I'd be going for an Arsenal win on that basis, you know.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Monday night football as well, and under the lights of Shadows Park.
Especially if it's raining, John, you know.
I don't know. I'm going to play it safe. I'll go with a draw. I think Vieira would want a point to prove as well, being a manager.
Nothing to do with Vieira wanting a point to prove.
I think so. I think it's a win. I guarantee.
That's all. No, hold on. Let me disabuse you of that notion. That's all tabloid nonsense.
I don't believe. He showed us it last.
Hold on, Jonathan. Hold on. There's only one ball on the pitch. Is Vieira kicking?
So frustrating, dude.
I hate all this cliched nonsense that we go on with. But it's nothing to do with Vieira other than how he sets his team up. He's not going to turn around and say, I'm playing Arsenal today. Every other week I go out to lose. I'm going to go out to win this one. Not at all. Nonsense.
I can't. The stresses of being a show host is really. I don't had him on it
Hang on, do we all say that?
Go on, sorry, that's.
Oh god!
I can't hold my composure anymore on this show. So frustrating.
Get on with the goal of the month, will you?
Right, goal of the month, thanks to Gary Lineker. I haven't got the music to play, so I might get Eamon to do that sometime. Goal of the month for March contenders is Martin Odegaard against Watford. Bukayo Saka's goal against Watford. Gabriel Martinelli also against Watford. They were all top goals, actually. I think we'd all agree in that game. Thomas Partey's header against Leicester. Alex Lacazette's penalty against Leicester as well. And, of course, Bukayo Saka, who got our 2000 goal against Aston Villa. My pick out that will be Bukayo Saka's against Watford for the way he finished and started to move and got the ball off cleverly, I think it was, to start, you know. So I'll give it to Saka against Watford. I'll go to Eamon, your goal of the month.
Yeah, very quickly, Jonathan. My one is Odegaard because they had just got a disallowed goal. We looked all over the gaff. We made one break, 1, 2, 3 quick passes, and then he had the composure just to take a touch and slide it in. It was a beautiful goal. That's my favourite.
Yeah. John?
Well, all 3 goals against Watford were absolutely outstanding. I'm going to go for Martinelli for the assist from Arteta. I thought it was fantastic football from the moment. Bang, bang, bang. Oh, superb.
Yeah, and Martin, would you like to be?
I mean,
there's no difference.
There's not that much left. I'm going with the header from Party.
He's scored a goal, time.
You know. It's party time. Like, you know, I think he needed that goal anymore. It wasn't the best goal, but it's 100% like, you know, for him the best goal. You know, like that's what.
On the basis that it didn't end up on the Holloway Road, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So he better goes with his head rather than with his feet. No, but the Watford game was sensational. All 3 goals in it, and like it's very hard to pick. But like, if I were to pick one, I actually think I like the Saka one because like the way Lacazette put the ball back to him, he put it on his right foot, and it was just that little extra push, you know, and backheeling it to him, like it was just sensational. So yeah, I go with Saka as well.
And for player of the month for March, I'll just throw a few names out. I'm sure we'll all have different ones, but I just picked a few out. Odegaard, Partey, Saka, and I thought Ben White had a good March as well. I'm going to go with Thomas Partey. I thought he had a very good month, you know, himself and Saka probably would have been a close 2 to get player of the month. He controlled the midfield quite well in all the games in March. So I'll go with Thomas Partey for his improvement again week on week. Martin, who was your player of the month?
For me, it's actually Odegaard because like he is really coming into the controlling part of the thing, and he makes so many chances, you know, and the amount of shots we create because of that. Like, so he's only 23. My
Yeah.
God, like,
It's mad, isn't it? Yeah.
it's unbelievable. Like,
Yeah.
and I can't wait to see if he, gets more layouts to where he's actually can put the ball, like, and just see where he's gonna evolve to, and that's just like frightening. So yeah, for me, Odegaard is just like he's so much improved, and he makes what we are now, and that's great.
John, your player of the month for March?
I'm actually going to go for Martinelli, basically because of the Liverpool game. As Eamon says, Liverpool are probably the best team in Europe at the moment, and Martinelli was the best player on the pitch by a mile.
Yeah, he was terrific. Yeah, he was. Yeah.
So he has been absolutely outstanding since he got, and I'm just going to go for Martinelli.
Eamon, your player of the month for March?
I'm going to go with your opinion, Jonathan. But I'm going to just remind you that 2 weeks ago on the show, you were saying that it should be sold in the summer. So I have all these shows recorded. I listen to them in bed at night. No, but the reason why I'm going for Thomas Partey is this: we haven't had that type of player since Gilberto, right?
Yeah.
Somebody who sits in and quietly just breaks things. There's no going around lumping, kicking fellas, and he just gets on. And you know what? If we had had Thomas Partey in 2000, John knows this. I'm still sore about the 2007-8 season, right? If we had had Thomas Partey besides Cesc Fabregas, we'd have been untouchable in 07-08 with that young, exciting team. And the current team reminds me of that team,
Yeah, it was a good March. And as predicted, we got 9 out of 12 points, as I said, at the end of February. So I think if all the listeners just listen to us, as Eamon says, everything will be okay. As we move on, and we still have a little Rocastle piece to do as well, as we're not here next week. I hope we're enjoying the show still a week. A bit of a history lesson since Saka scored our 2000 goal. Just a few milestones Arsenal.com put up today. Our first Premier League goal, I don't know, do you remember who scored our first one?
Yeah, I've seen it today, so it's bold.
Martin has ruined the whole show now.
Oh, yeah.
Steve Bowles, August the 15th, 1992, 4-2. We lost.
I was at the game.
Were you at that game, were you? Oh, my Lord.
Yeah. It was the first day the mural appeared behind the other goal.
That's
Was
right.
that the day, yeah? Oh, very good. Stays you use there, old. It
all got off to a great start. There was a bloke doing a stunt, landing down in a helicopter. It was all this big fanfare, and he missed the ground. He ended up landing in the Blackstock or something. He actually missed the bloody ground.
To be honest, a lot of people ended up in there aiming.
That's probably explains the hole in the roof in the Blackstock.
You learned something from this show, I tell you, lads. Goal 100 was scored by Ian Wright in September 25th, 94, 2-0. Goal 200 was Martin Keown in a 3-3 draw against Chelsea, September 4th, 1996. Goal 300 was Stephen Hughes. I think you don't remember him.
Left-footed player in the middle of the pitch, did a job in 97, 98.
Yeah, he had a decent season actually. That one, didn't he? Yeah. Who did he go on to play with next? Who does he move on to?
He got cropped.
This is a load of bollocks. This is crap. It's like football started in 92 with the Premier League. What about the 100 years before that?
Yeah.
Excuse myself, John. This is important.
Let's get away from it.
Okay.
The show in 2 weeks' time will be about Mr. Wilf Copping.
Okay, we're going to breeze through them quickly. So, goal 400 was Canu, 4-1 against Everton. 500 was 6-1 against United Betis. Remember that day? 6-1 away. That was actually our 500. That's actually
it's too soon. I don't want to talk about it.
Goal 600, Sylvain Wiltor, 2-0. Opening game of the season. It was August the 18th. Goal 700 was Edu, 2-1 win against Chelsea. I think Pierre scored the first goal that day. I think it was. Goal 800, Thierry Henry, 2-2 against Chelsea, December the 12th. I think that was a tap in of Cudicini. I think it was that game. Goal 900 was Dennis Bergkamp, 3-1 against West Brom, April
Oh,
15th.
yes, 2006.
That was Bear Camp Day, wasn't it? Dennis Bear Camp Day. Goal 1,000. Emmanuel Adebayor. 3-1 against Reading, November 12th, 2007. Goal 11,100. Mikel Silvestre in a 4-1 win against Wigan, April the 11th, 2009. God, I can't even remember that game. I think we lost that game, wasn't it? I think it was, actually. I think they came back, wasn't it? Pepe Reina got her 1,200 goal OG. It was the opening day of the season, if you remember. I think Shamak had a chance and it came off him into the corner.
Yeah.
Goal 1,300, Trevino, 4-0 against Wigan, December 3rd, 2011.
Jeez.
Goal 1,400 was actually by Trevino as well. 2-0 against Swansea away. Nacho Monreal, I think, scored the first goal that day. Goal 1,500 was Sanchez against Sunderland, October 25th, 2014. Goal 1,600, Joel Campbell, 2-1. I think we lost that game. I think they bet us at home. March the 2nd, 2016. Danny Welbeck, 4-3 against Leicester.
Sorry. That is the disastrous day. That we just beaten Leicester City with Danny Welbeck's last minute goal.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't actually. It was the 4-3 opening game of the season.
We were in the woolshed distraught after that. Yeah.
It was actually the opening day, Eamon. 1,800. Goal 1,800 was Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, 2-1 against Bournemouth, November the 25th, 2018. Goal 1,900 was Kieran Tierney, last day of the season against Watford, 3-2 we won. And then, of course, 2,000 was Saka's on Saturday. So that's the history lesson on that one.
Yeah.
You can vaguely remember the Stephen Hughes one. I'd have to track back on that one.
Left foot strike, lovely goal. 97, I think it was 97, 98.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was the title winning season, wasn't it? Yeah.
That was a 2-0 win in the winter time at home. Lovely goal. Yeah.
And yeah, look, maybe score many more goals. I'll go, that's only the first of 2000. Hopefully, we'll be around for the next 2000. Of course, with us not being here next week, it will be the 24th anniversary of David Rocky Rocastle. He was born on the 2nd of May 1967 in Lewisham in London. Passed away, of course, on the 31st of March 2001 at the age of 33. Played for Arsenal between 1985 and 1992, making 218 appearances and scoring 24 goals. Probably the highlight of his career is probably playing for us, because after that it kind of went downhill for him regarding injuries and just not settling at other clubs. Leeds United, Man City, Chelsea, Norwich and Hull, and then he went to Sabah, I think it was Indonesia, or Malaysia, sorry, where he finished up. I want to go to John. Your fan memories of Rocky?
Imagine Bukayo Saka.
Yeah.
45 years ago. That's exactly what he was.
Yeah, it's a great description of
the ranks, all the talent in the world. Outstanding player. I remember his last season, he actually played a hell of a lot to the middle of the park rather than on the wing, and been devastated when he left. But it was clever management by Graham. His knee was gone. Graham knew it. Got good money for him. I remember being in the 12 pins when news broke that he passed away. We'd obviously known he was sick with leukemia, and we were playing football on the day. And when news broke, anyone who knows the 12 pins, absolutely packed to the rafters, hundreds and hundreds of Arsenal fans. Everyone just felt out of their all better behave when the minute silence came through. Yeah. I mean, we were all paranoid. I mean, it's not London Derby, there was a lot on it. And to that credit, you could hear the pin drop when the minute silence came through.
Yeah.
Never forget it. Very emotional day. Hell of a player. And the fact that 20 years after he's passed away, we still remember him. That says everything for you.
Yeah. That day, of course, we bet Spurs 2-0, and Perez scored a very Rocky-esque goal, wasn't it? In from the wing and buried in the bottom corner. It was like the man was shining down on him that day, number 7 as well. What would have been your best moment of him, John, in terms of goals? What was the best goal you would have seen of him?
And I remember the 88-89 season when we won the league. But early in the season, we set down a mark. We went up to Anfield and we played them in the League Cup. And this was at a time when there was no European football. The League Cup meant something to everybody. It was a competition everybody wanted to win.
Yeah.
And it was Liverpool who were the heavyweights at the time. And we wanted their crown. We wanted what they had. And we went at them toe to toe. And he scored an absolute cracker from the corner of the box.
No back John. He absolutely walloped it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, unbelievable goal.
Yeah.
I think Liverpool beat us in a replay, but we set down a marker that night. We're not going to be pushed over. And that's the goal that stands out.
Yeah.
But obviously you have the picture outside Highbury. Rocastle saying, remember who you are and what you represent.
Yeah.
Basically, remember the badge in the shirt and what it represents.
Yeah.
Incredible player, and his career finished way too soon. Yeah. And he's so did his life.
Yeah, from Broccoli to the big time is a great documentary. Remember?
Really,
he was in tears to, I think, what was it, David Dean and Ian Wright saying he didn't want to go. But look, at the time, as you said, they got a good fee from him. They had to cash in. It's sad to see a player like represent. He's Arsenal true and true. It must have been really heartbreaking, especially when Ian Wright only joined the club because of him, and what a legend he became after. So yeah, Amy, what was your memories of the?
I was actually going to start with that memory of remember who you were, where you came from, and what you represent. Right? And that to me speaks everything about David Rocastle. Apart from the fact, as you said, he had the skill of Bukayo Saka. But I want to draw attention to one thing that people forget. Because he was such a skillful player, people forget how hard he was.
Hard as nails.
He was hard as nails. Alan Smith, what a player he was. And he was hard as nails. Hard as nails, right?
Yeah.
And like my favorite Rocky goal was in the 88-89 season. Around, I think it was Boxing Day, as they say in the neighbouring country, right? We went to Aston Villa and done them 4-0, and the goalkeeper, I think it was Nigel Fink, he punched the ball out to the edge of the box, and Rocky took one touch and decided this is going back where that came from, over everybody into the goal.
Yeah.
A beautiful piece of skill and an even better piece of imagination, and that summed him up. And he was a credit. Just credit anybody who hasn't seen that documentary with Ian Wright and David Rocastle, even non-Arsenal fan who hasn't seen that, they've got to watch it. It's a top watch. And the last thing I'll say is I wasn't devastated when he left because you're caught in the moment. Yeah. I look back and I say he's Arsenal true and true, but his knee was gone. We got about 2 million quid from him. We got a really good price for him. And also, because his knee was gone, he was about a stone overweight. And that's why he went playing in the middle of the park. He didn't have the trickery or guile that he'd had to... and by the way, the reason why his knee was gone was, go back to what I said, because he was hard as nails. He was brave. He's brave as a lion.
Yeah, going in tackles, yeah.
But one of the greats, just to me, he's up there with Liam Brady. And when I say that, I don't say it lightly.
Yeah, it's a big shout out, and I think he's deserved of a statue in my eyes at the Emirates. Not only as a player but as a person. He seemed to be a great human being to get on with as well. He time for everyone and made all the new sign and settled in from reading his book. Anyone that came in the door, regardless of where they came from and all, he made them feel welcome. And that's shows the height of the man. Martin, your memories of Rocky?
Well, to be honest,
golf course in Austria.
Yeah, this is actually. I don't even want to talk about something what I don't know, because obviously I'm only in Ireland since '97, where I'm an Arsenal supporter. But obviously you heard about Rocastle, so what I've seen of him is just an unbelievable player and an unbelievable man, and that's what it is. And what even is more better, and John said it, is Bukayo Saka. again, it's like what Arsenal does at the moment, like to get these memories up, like in putting him into, I don't know if there was a picture with Saka and Rocastle, like a whole thing on it. And that's exactly, what we need, to don't forget the things. And look at this. I'm not that young, but I wasn't here. But it's actually, that the players like that never going to be forgotten. And that's so important, like, in the history of it, and we can watch all the documentaries and whatever we can, and it would have been so much better to actually seen him. And I would love to have seen him. But and we should never, ever forget stuff like that. And that just makes a club who has history, they're really good. And, long may it continue, and look, it's sad, like when somebody dies in 33, it's always sad. But especially if you have it as a player, and look, that nobody wants to see that, but yeah, like, I mean, I wouldn't want to say anything which I don't know. But yeah, it's great that we still honor him in 30, 40 years later, nearly, which is great.
To hear the chant of oh, Rocky, it goes through so many generations now. It's great to see it heard and sang at games. It's the one chant you'll always hear, and it does send a shiver down your spine when you hear it, because no nice to see a passing of a player and a person at that young age, with still a lot to offer the world, so may he rest in peace, and he'll never be forgotten as an Arsenal player anyway, that's for sure. So obviously thoughts and prayers with his family on the Dave's anniversary, I'd like to mention that because we won't be here next week. As I said, because of International Week and I'm away on holidays next week, thank God, you won't get to see our ugly faces for a fortnight. We'll be back Tuesday, April the 5th, reviewing hopefully another victory against Palace, and also maybe previewing our upcoming game of that weekend against Brighton at home. So we'll be doing that of that week. You can catch our show, as I said, at the top of the show on Spotify, SoundCloud, and on the Dublin Arsenal YouTube channel. Is there anything else, lads, you'd like to mention regarding the supporters club rent?
Not about the supporters club, but I know there's no men's football on, but there's a massive week coming up for the women. They're playing against Wolfsburg in the Champions League. Then they have Spurs at home, both in the Emirates, which is amazing for them to play there. And then, the week after, the second leg for Wolfsburg. So there's a big chance for them. And if you're desperate for football and you don't want to watch the internationals, go and watch the women. I think the North London Derby is on BBC anyway. I'm actually thinking of making a day trip over because the tickets are only €7.50 for a ticket, so which is not bad.
That's good, yeah.
So
the way you play golf, you'd be quicker on a day trip.
But yeah, just to give them a shout out as well, and if you're not watching on the telly, I think it's look at that doing really, really well, and if a player of the month, your woman Bet Stenius, the Black Stenius, she's just unbelievable at the moment. She's just scoring goals left, right, and centre. So yeah, that's just from my side. And then we're obviously back for the Palace game on Monday in the River Bar as well.
Yeah, and if there's any Arsenal female listeners and you'd like to take part of the show on any week, just leave, just get in contact with us, and we'd be more than happy to have you to talk about the women's side of Arsenal, because I don't think they do probably. In fact, I didn't get no mention at all. I've asked John and Eamon to get onto this, but I'm still waiting. But it's like Arsenal waiting to win the league. It could be waiting a while. I'd like, as always, to thank my guests, Martin, Alex Manninger, Stumble, John, the Baker Media, and Eamon, who am I, Brady, Donnelly. Thanks again, lads. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time. Have a good weekend. Have a good weekend.
See you later, guys.
Thanks, lads. Thanks for the show. Thank you.
Right.
Thanks, lads.
Bye.